Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another lesson, our free online courses about Revit Architecture. And today we are on lesson 10 out of our 13 lessons that we have. Okay, so if you haven't checked out the previous lessons, you can go to our YouTube channel, Acad Systems, and basically take a look at all the other previous lessons. Okay, and for today's lesson, we will be looking at annotating construction documents in Revit. All right, so without further ado, I will open up Revit. Okay, so this is what we have done previously. We have learned in the previous lesson how to create walls, floor, putting the windows, roof, and so on. And today's topic will be specifically under this annotate tab. Okay. All right. So for this, I will go to one of our floor plan, the ground floor plan. Right. So we might have seen a little bit some elements of this annotate tab, which is we have placed some dimension, right? We have here dimension. Okay. Before we start, I want to let you guys know that everything under this annotate tab are view specific. So what does it mean? So whatever I place, for example, like dimension, the detail lines, tagging, if I place it on the ground floor view, it will only be visible in this ground floor view. Okay, just for to compare, under this annotate tab, we have detail line. So this detail line can be used to draw any kind of lines that you need to draw. Okay, and these lines will only be visible in ground floor view. Okay, as opposed to if I go to the architecture tab, we have a model line. I click at the model line and I just draw some lines beside it. Right. So if I go to the 3D view, I can see the model line, but I can't see the detail line because this detail line is view specific. If I draw it on the ground floor view, it will only be here. Okay, so similarly to the rest of other things that are in this annotate tab. Okay. So first, on the left side of our ribbon here, we have the dimension. So a line dimension is normally used for straight dimensions like this. You can just click, and click. If you want to stop, you can click an empty space to stop. Okay, pretty straightforward. And then to dimension angles, you can take angular dimension. For example, from this grid to this grid, just click and click. And then you can control the placement of that dimension. And then we also have radial. So for radial, we must have something with an arc or a circle. For example, we have this door, an arc shape. So you can annotate what's the radius for this door. Okay. And so on. I believe this is pretty simple. Diameter, arc length would basically have the same method applying it. Okay. We also have spot elevation. So for spot elevation, it can be used to pinpoint to one spot and get the height. For example, I will open up the elevation view. For example, east elevation view here. So I can take this spot elevation. Let's say I want to know this height, the roof height here. So I just point to this particular spot, and then it will tell us what's the height here. Okay. Maybe I want to know the height of this window. So I can just point it there, and it will annotate it. Okay, so that is spot elevation. For spot, we can also place spot coordinate. For this project, we didn't really specify specific coordinates, but in Revit, there is something called internal origin that specifies the 0, 0 coordinate. Okay, it's usually hidden. If you want to bring it out, you can go to VG, you type VG, and then you search for site. Okay, and then you will see internal origin here. So you have to turn it on in order to see it. Okay, then here it will show us this exists. So this one is our 0, 0. If I place this spot coordinate, as I bring my cursor nearer to the internal origin, it will be 0, 0. Okay, and then I can point to a place, and that will correspond to our internal origin. Okay. Next is spot slope. I'll go back to the elevation view. Okay, if we have something sloping like roof here, like our roof here, I can use this spot slope and then just click on that particular slope. Okay. So currently it's annotating the slope using a factor of 1000. So if you need to change that, maybe degrees, you can click at edit type, and then you will find in the type properties units format. So just click here, change it to degrees, and just click OK and OK. Okay. So you'll be able to annotate its sloping. Right. Next, I've shown you a little bit about detail line just now. So detail line can be used to draw any lines. Because consider this, for example, in this diagram, it shows us the foundation and also an anchor. Okay, so maybe you're working on a project that doesn't really require you to model everything until up to the level of your anchors. So you can create a call-out view and just use this detail line to draw over it, to draw an anchor over it, right? So that could be a use of this detail line. But generally, you are free to draw anything using this detail line. Okay. Then next we have region. With region, there's two options. We have fill region and masking region. So these work exactly like hatching. If you're familiar with AutoCAD, first you have to draw the boundary of your hatch area, and you can click finish. Okay, and then you can choose the type of hatching that you want to apply from the properties. Okay, and then we have components. So detail component here would usually bring some families of detail components. Okay, so I have few here, for example, this particular block. Okay, so I can place this block here. So this actually would have a similar effect if I were to go to detail line and draw this particular block. Okay, but this has been created as a family. So if you imagine this detail line, I create it in a family and load it in this project. Okay, in terms of the behavior, it will probably work similar way as a detail line. Okay, but this way you have created a family, you can easily copy it, things like that. Okay, so if I were to compare to maybe AutoCAD, I can say this works like block. Right. And then we also have our revision cloud. That one is simply helps you draw a cloud. Okay, and then next I will go to the text. So you can click at text, and then you point to where you want to input that text, and then just type in something. And then with this, you can add a leader. Just click on this arrow. Sorry, you have to select the word and click here to add the arrow, the leader. You can have multiple leaders one time. Okay, and then the rest for the text is pretty straightforward. Okay, and then the last thing that I want to show you under this Annotate tab is tagged by category. So by now you should be aware that everything in Revit would have their own category. For example, this window, if I select on it, in the properties, it will say here window. This is the name of the category. If I go to roof, this roof here. So this is the name of the category. Okay. So this tagging works for a specific category. It means if I want to tag this door, I would need it's a window. If I want to tag this window, I need to have a window tag. Okay. So it depends. Sometimes it's loaded for you. Sometimes you have to find it in the library, or you have to create that tagging family yourself. But for normal items like window like this, usually it's preloaded for you. So I go to tag by category, then I point to my window. Okay. If I were to tag my roof, okay, it says that there is no tag loaded for roof. So you probably need to find it in the library, or you have to create that tagging family yourself. Okay. Going back to here, so this is showing 12. Okay, it's important to know what is 12. So I click on this tagging, I edit family. Okay, and in this particular family, I can see this WG01. So I want to know what is WG01. I click on it and edit label. Okay, and then from here I can see it's actually a mark parameter. So now that I understood that it's a mark parameter, then I can check on my window family and look at the mark parameter. So it says here 12. Okay, so if I want to tag it in a different way, for example, like W1, so I would type that W1 in the mark parameter value, and that will also update our tagging. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. Due to our time constraint, I couldn't go through all of them, but I have shown you most of the important parts of it. I hope that you can learn something valuable from this lesson. And thank you very much for joining me today. Hope to see you in the next lesson. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.